All right, there we go. We're live. Hey, we're going to do a mic test real quick. So I hope everything is good. We're all good, guys. Welcome to Thursday night's Livewell here at Fish North, Georgia. We're glad that you could join us tonight. Got a good show, good remembrance show that we're going to do. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And if you watch this at a later date, we appreciate you as well. Also do the same and make sure you click the bell so you'll be notified of any future content and all that. And tonight we're going to sit around, good old campfire style session that we're going to do tonight. We're going to remember our good friend and compadre Eric Beasley, who unfortunately passed away this past Sunday. And, we've done our crying, but we're going to do a little celebration tonight. We're going to celebrate the life of that he led and that, he was while he was here in our lives, and we're going to share some stories and stuff like that, stuff you may or may not have heard already. But again, it's going to be, we're going to keep it as uplifting as we can because we think that's what he deserves. And that's the feeling that he brought in here with us, always smiling and all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that, but let me get the business out of the way. And again, we want to thank our sponsor, Rachel Collins with 400homes.com, for all that she's done to support us here at Fish North, Georgia and the Livewell. Guys, if you're in the market for to buy or sell real estate, again, Rachel is the agent for you. We say it every week. She's one of us. She likes to fish. She's the perfect agent. And her number is 770-310-0599, or you can get her at Rachel at 400homes.com. But as always, we want to show you the sign right there. That's Rachel. And guys, absolutely, you guys want to, you want to hit her up if you need that. So, and tell her the guys at Fish North Georgia sent you. There's a lot of questions about some upcoming benefit stuff. I'm going to go ahead and get that out of the way. There's a couple of things. People have asked me how they could donate money to the family. You can donate it directly to us. You can come by the store here at Fish North Georgia, and we'll make sure they get every penny of it, or you can Venmo and PayPal. Either one, if you've got a donation that you want to make to the family. Both of them are Danny at fishnorthgeorgia.com, and that Georgia is GA. So Danny at fishnorthga.com. And anything that we get on behalf of you guys out there, I'll make sure they get 100% of that. There's going to be some benefit tournaments. There's going to be some raffles and stuff like that at these tournaments, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit more. Currently, the one that we've got scheduled right now, we pretty much feels in the works, is June 18th out of Laurel Park. We're working on the details of that. And over the course of the next couple of weeks, or not next couple of weeks, next week, we'll be putting out the information on that entry fee, stuff like that. So definitely, guys, we want all your support. Now, before I go any further, I want to mention the ceremony that's going to be happening next Tuesday, celebration of life for Eric, and give you guys the details one more time. It's going to be at Revolution Church. That's in Canton, Georgia. I don't have the exact address here, but visitation is 5 to 6 p.m. and the memorial service itself is 6 to 7 p.m. Now, I would love for as many of our Fish North Georgia family to be there, and the family has requested that, hey, listen, we're not going to be dressing up in suit and ties on this, and we're going to be wearing our fishing gear, okay? And if you got, especially if you got, and we talked about how to pronounce this. Is it hook or hook? Hook.
It's hook.
Hook.
It's an umlaut.
Okay, hook. So especially if you've got any hook gear, definitely wear that. It's we're going to celebrate his life, but this is also to help show his family the reach that Eric actually had, that even it's amazed us, the outpouring and support that we have seen this week. It's just, if you knew how many times I heard somebody say, I never met him, but I felt like I knew him because of this show and seeing him out there fishing, it lets us know that, hey, what we're doing here is right, this family and all that. So I would love as many of you guys to show up. I've been honored. I am honored. I've been asked to speak as one of those that gets to speak during the service, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I know the circumstance ain't great, but anytime I get a chance to talk about this kid, it's awesome. And this is why this show tonight's going to be awesome. and we're going to share that. So again, that's next Tuesday, Revolution Church, Canton, Georgia. Visitation 5 to 6, memorial service 6 to 7. So again, and that's going to be a big event. I want to make it as big as possible. And again, so Ryan's in the house. We're going to take time while he's here, though, to congratulate you on your fatherhood and everything. We can call you Big Poppy now. So that's awesome. Huh? Dad. Paul is behind the board right now, but he's going to be joining us on this side here shortly. And Dane Hunter with the ABA 125 is here as well. And he's been on enough. He knows Eric very well and got attached to him as well. So I really don't know how to start a show like this. So we're just gonna go with it. I'll tell you that Monday morning when I got the news was one of the toughest mornings that I can remember as an adult. And I'm 50. Eric was 17, and he was like the pesky kid brother that just followed you around everywhere when he first started showing up here. And I put it on Facebook Day, but one night we were sitting here, and I just said, he was standing back behind the cameras, and I just pointed at him. I said, "You sit down." And that started it all. He sat down and just right then and there went to it. He started talking and all that. But Monday was tough, and we've cried and we've questioned and we've done all this stuff. I got to talk to his father, and the guys here will ditto me on this and say that it was a shock. It was a shock to our system. A lot of tears have been shed in this place. So, and I'll try not to do it tonight. I'm going to try to get through this without crying because we want to celebrate a little bit. But in the time since we got the news, I've spent a lot of time just going back in my mind thinking about the little details that I missed and the things that the kid did. And I'm going to tell you right now, and this is the hardest one for us, and this is where it's really going to be tough, is every Thursday night, every single Thursday night between 6:45 and 7:15, this giant of a kid would walk through our door. We didn't have to question it. We didn't have to call him and say, "Hey, you going to be on the show?" We knew. We just knew. And tonight was the first night that I knew he wasn't coming. And so that's kind of tough. But we love this kid, and so we're going to share some stories, and we'll talk fishing because that's what he would want us to do. But again, it's amazing to me how, as an adult, as an older guy, and Dane, you're older than me. You're ancient. How old are you?
51.
Okay, so you're 1 year older than me. So we're both ancient. It's amazing to me that a 17-year-old kid could have such an impact on an old fart like me. That's about the best way to put it.
Same here.
Yes, and just not expecting it, but he did, and so we're going to get to talking. Now, I haven't been looking in the comments, but again, you guys feel free to put any comments right there that you want. If you do got questions about fishing, hey, throw them in there because Beasley would want us to do that. Have we found out what happened? Well, I'll go ahead and add this. We know he was in an accident. There's no details because of the investigation part that has to go on anytime there's a boating accident like that. So we have no details other than we just lost a friend. And for the sake and the privacy of the family, probably if I knew the details, I probably wouldn't say just that, just for that, just because we love them. But it's an unfortunate accident that just, it happened. And so we will leave it at that. But I will say this, and I'm echoing the words of his father who came up here and sat in my office. He was doing exactly what he loved to do. Right down to he was at, and his daddy couldn't have pulled him off that lake if he wanted to. So that, I take into that. But again, so this is really tough on us, but we're going to do our best to share some stories and again, if you got comments in there, you guys throw them in there, and we will read them. We'll do the best we can, and we're just gonna have some fun because now, now is the time where we're remembering back. And last night I was up and I was pulling up videos and looking at some of the goofy stuff he did on the show and what he brought to the show. And I had some tears, but I had a lot of laughs. And Paul mentioned it before the show is sometimes we would get to talking so much during this thing that Beasley's over there cracking comments that we miss totally. And he's really just busting our chops while we don't even know it. And so now I can go back and I can look at that, and it's really, really, really good. So that kind of stuff like that is just it's going to be precious to us. So you've heard it, especially if you're a Baptist, precious memories. And so that's what we're here to do tonight. So where you want to go with this? I mean, I tell you what, we've seen them every Thursday. You've seen them every so often, but I'll let you kind of start and kind of tell everybody, at least from your point of view, a little bit about the kid.
First time I met Eric was when I was on the show up here, and just talked to him, and he was 17. We refer to him as a kid, but he was a young man. And he knew what he wanted to do.
Dang right.
And that kind of impressed me that, okay, here's this young man kid that had a focus, had a drive.
Mm-hmm.
And, we talked about this earlier, if he wasn't trying different stuff in the fryer at Chick-fil-A, and I just lost it when he said that night.
Y'all got to go back and watch that episode. That's right.
That was funny. When he wasn't doing that, he was on the water. He was up here. He was somewhere trying to learn.
That's right.
And he was a little shy at times.
At times.
But when you finally pulled him out, it just, his presence, knowing what he wanted to do at such a young age. At 17, I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do, And
I can tell you what I wanted to do was getting me in trouble. So it was at that age, yeah, for sure.
But he hung in there. He would share what he had learned about fishing with anybody that asked.
Right.
But he would sit around upstairs and just listen to other people talk and just sponge it in.
That's right. That's exactly right. He paid attention.
And the little snicker, when something funny was said, his little snicker, a little giggle he had, But Eric just kind of, it's going to sound bad, he kind of grew on me, just
absolutely.
From the get-go.
Yeah.
And being up here, being around him, the kid was amazing.
He was.
And as I told you upstairs earlier, if anybody would have asked me, who do I know in the bass world that would ever stand on a stage and hold up a big blue trophy at some point in time in their life? And there's some great fishermen that watch this program, and I ain't talking bad about nobody. But with the drive, the ability to take what people told him, understand it, go out, try it, tweak it to use for his benefit, my first answer would have been Eric Beasley.
Oh, absolutely. He was, and when he did soak everything up like a sponge.
Mm-hmm.
And that's including even how to talk on, and he was getting really good coming out of his shell and even starting to talk on, with the microphone and stuff like that. He was kind of watching us and figuring it out, and stuff like that. So it was, but he did do one thing that's very important in this life that not a lot of people do anymore. He listened.
Mm-hmm.
He did listen. And if people would hush a little bit, they might hear some stuff that would help them out. And he was really good at that. I
had a guy tell me many years ago, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk.
That's exactly right. All right, Big Ryan, I'm going to bring you into this because I know how you felt about the kid. And, maybe you can share a little bit. We're going to have plenty of these. He was heading in that direction for sure, Tracy. Absolutely. And Facebook user, I love the FNG community. You guys are all awesome. You think who?
I think that's Buddha.
Buddha, if that's Buddha. Listen, we appreciate that. But you guys need to realize something. When you say that community is you guys, and you guys from Eric and all you guys make that community. You guys are whatever it is we are, you are, and so we appreciate that. Dylan, anytime that somebody would want us to come talk to your school, we definitely would do that. But Ryan, how about you jumping in here a little bit? Because here's what's funny is because you were closer in age to him. And so when I say little brother, I mean, hell, I got kids that are older than Beasley was. All my kids are. But he was more like the little brother type with you, for sure.
Yeah, he well, Sunday we had a club tournament Sunday, and at 10:30 that morning he texted me. He said he sent me a picture of the dam at Hartwell, and he said, I can make it to the dam, but I'll have to get gas to make it back up to Tugaloo. And I said, geez, LOL, you better be prepared. Your dad's going to hate that charge on the credit card.
That's right. That's right.
And that was the last thing that I ever said to him. Went back. He was fishing. I was fishing. Me and him, it would never fail on a Saturday or a Sunday. It would never, ever fail. I would get a text.
Yep.
Are you out here?
Yes.
Where are you?
That's right.
And, yada, 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 whatever. All right. If you get on something, let me know. I'll do the same. Okay. Me and him had many conversations like that. The thing, and I'm not really saying anything, I guess, that, that hasn't already kind of really been said by Dane and Danny already, but there's a lot of great young anglers in this community. Mm-hmm. But I will say this. I will go out on a limb, and I'm not ashamed to say this whatsoever. I fully expected him to make it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I wasn't hoping that he would make it. I was fully expecting him to make it. You could throw all the names into the hat of the young guys around here. I'd pick him. A sponge is a very good way of describing him. There were several times where, we'd fish all day, and I'd get back home, and my boat's unhooked. Batteries are on charge. I'm sitting in my recliner at my house. Text message come through at 5:30. Oh, I finally figured him out.
yeah. He wouldn't leave. Leave. That's right.
I've already been out there for 8-9 hours. He's still out there. And his drive, his desire is the big word. His desire to become the best that he could physically and mentally become in the sport of bass fishing was second to none. I'll put him up. If it was on chessboard, I'd put him as the queen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because he could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was the one thing that I told him one time, I said, the one thing that you have that's better than me on this thing for sure is, and me and him talked a lot. He asked me a lot of questions about stuff. And one thing I'll say, the one thing I use myself in this conversation that we had, I told him, I said, the one thing that you have that's bar none better than me at is that you're willing to try anything, everything, and do anything. And you're willing to make tweaks to do anything. And he would. there wasn't a technique, there wasn't a bait, there wasn't shallow water, deep water, open water, structure. It didn't matter. All he cared about was figuring out how, not just one way, multiple ways to catch fish. To catch bigs.
What's the saying?
And the new saying that we're going to say
new saying, this is it.
It's a hashtag, but it's 5 bigs for Beasley.
And tell everybody why.
It's just because he always, anytime he come up here to the store, he's like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out how to get those bigs.
Those bigs.
You know.
And that's how he would say it.
And I would
those bigs.
And I would always just shake my head, and I'm
Ryan
like,
and his impressions.
I'm like, it ain't always about catching bigs, Beasley.
It was him.
He said, dude, how else you gonna win? You know, it's just like, I mean, it's just whatever. But I mean,
that's it.
But I love the kid. Yeah, exactly. I love the kid to death. And I'm his. You know, I'll be telling stories about him for a long time.
Absolutely.
And you know, after all this is over and everything, he became a big part. And if y'all could have been a fly on the wall with some of these post Livewell conversations.
No, seriously.
I mean, it got down to the point one night I got so frustrated with him one night. We had one of the several episodes that we had here. I got pissed off at him.
You did.
Yeah, I told him, I said, and I just say it like it is. I said, damn it, Beasley. I said, take some time to find some women in your life. I said, everything ain't about bass fishing.
We did.
And he said, you know, I don't know, and I'm like, you're laughing, but I'm being serious.
Yes.
You know, I was like, you can't sit around holding spotted bass all your life. I said, you need a woman to hold.
Spotted bass is my girl.
He said, and I was like, I grabbed his phone one day. I said, let me see your Instagram. I pulled his Instagram up. I said, let me just see. And I was flying through his Instagram. And by George, there wasn't a single picture of like a girl or anything on there. Everything was fishing, bass fishing, boats. It was you name it, rods, reels. It was nothing.
TikTok.
Yeah, we did. Yes, the TikTok. That's right.
We got on. Paul said we got to get on the TikTok.
Well, Bronson was here that night. We had his face so red that night.
Bronson was here. That's right. And Jeremy Eaton was here that night too.
But if his mama knew what we were
talking about that night and we were giving him
adult advice.
I'm glad you said adult advice. We were trying to give him some adult advice because we were all standing here. We were all 17 once, and we all had one thing on our mind at 17. And it
wasn't bass fishing.
It wasn't bass fishing.
No, it was
it was not bass fishing.
Oh God, I remember that night.
But it was so. But they're just on a serious note though about it. I mean, there'll never be another one like him.
Not my
There'll
life.
never be another one like him. But we love him, and we will forever miss him.
Absolutely.
I know I will.
Oh yeah,
I will forever miss him.
I've been looking at some of the comments. There's been some good comments that we've missed along the way.
Absolutely. So that's, and I can't get them, but I listen. And this is the honest to God's truth. If his mama knew the things that we old men were trying to impress in this young man's mind. But the thing is, we could not crack the armor. We tried. I mean, we tried. And his daddy told me the other day, he goes, you know, every time he was up here with you guys, I knew one thing. I knew he was safe. Mm-hmm. And in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, he was safe. We're going to make sure he got home. But if you knew what we were trying to get, you know, what we were telling that boy. Now, I'm going to tell you what.
That's another thing, too, that I'm going to miss. Is the text message.
The text message? Oh, absolutely.
Well, no, not the text message after these shows. I always told him, text me when you're home.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he would always text me up home.
He would.
And then one day he one day he messaged me the next morning. I forgot to tell you, I made it home. So, I was like, but I always read his text messages and everything in his voice. And so it's just.
I don't have my phone down here, but he got to fish so much. He was always on the water, and he would kind of rub that in your face a little bit because he knew I was stuck up here in the store. And the last one that I got on my phone, and this is exactly what it says. He goes, "I'm on the water and they're chomping," and I just answered back, "You suck," and that's how I would answer. And that was my way of telling him I love him and you're a lucky dog, like that. But what's really cool is he was a good sport about it too, because we hazed the daylights out of that boy when he was up there. We hazed him. That's the best way to describe
We hazed him with love, though.
It was with love. It was with adult advice. It was with getting a girlfriend. I mean, we were to the point where we were going to hire him a girlfriend.
I was at the point. I was like, I wish Backpage was still around because I'm gonna find you.
we were going to hire the boy a girlfriend, but you know what? He'd probably been looking, but the whole time in his mind, he would be like, I bet they're on that blow through. Right in the back of his mind, I bet they're on that.
Or he looked at her and said, "Want to go fishing?
You want to go fishing?" That's exactly right. And here I want to say something too before we get any further. I'm looking at the amount of people that are watching this, and it touches my heart because that is awesome. So Nathan Skinner, first question in honor of VB. Let's do this. I'm going to Burton for the first time Saturday. What should I tie on? That's a really good question. Ryan, you got any ideas on that while we're going?
How
about this?
I'd throw nothing but a top water.
What would Beasley do?
Beasley would probably throw nothing but a top water swim bait and probably drop shot.
Well, as Kobe Adams said earlier in the comments, when the night we were up here, he looked at the camera real serious and said, "Drop shot."
Drop shot. That's exactly right. Do we still have that worm around here that he had?
I don't think I ever actually saw him throw a drop shot the times that we did.
He probably was throwing us off.
And he just didn't do it near as much as people say.
Right. He probably was throwing us off.
Tuesday night, Murph and I hadn't thrown drop shot all year.
And did you throw
Tuesday night, we threw drop shot.
Jump in here, Paul. Yeah, get over here.
And first two fish, come on, drop shot.
Yeah.
First two fish.
First two fish on the drop shot. He you know what? Now, his dad told me the other day, he goes, but guys, y'all don't know his secret baits. Because he would go home and tinker with baits. He goes, they look like they're duct taped together, and he would use these things and stuff like that. And he goes, even I don't know all of what he would do. So he would give you juice and all that, but he had his secrets. He had his, and that's I hate to say it, that's a mark of a good angler. I'm going to help you, but I know I got this, I got the ace in the hole right there. So, absolutely. Burton right now, though, I mean, I don't know. That's definitely, going to, and I'll be honest with you, tomorrow, and for anybody that's watched this show for any given amount of time, that I've never been in a kayak. And so tomorrow I'm actually going to fish a kayak tournament. The only reason I'm doing that is because I'm kind of inspired by Beasley himself to go try something different. And I said, all right, I'm going to jump in this kayak thing and just see what we can do. But the things that we loved about Beasley, never in the history of the world has a man ever wore so tight of shorts as Beasley. And consistently.
And no matter how cold it was,
wore shorts. He wore those shorts.
Does everybody not know that person? That is just shorts always.
Beasley is the guy in my life that is a shorts guy.
Always, no matter what.
I know one other that's like that.
Yeah. He'd come in here in January. It's out there. I've got like 15 different layers on it, and he just come from the lake and he's got shorts on. And I'm like, you fool. But he young and dumb, ain't it? I guess he just couldn't handle it. I
come in one night, blue jeans, had on a shirt, had on a hoodie. He comes in shortly thereafter, shorts,
a hook shirt, and that daggum dugout hat. It didn't matter. That little, he would absolutely wear the dugout hat. I want to read you guys something that was sent to me from Harmon, from LJ. Those that we affectionately know him as LJ, and the post that I put on the page today was the first time Beasley ever came in and was on the show. And it just so happened to be LJ was on the show that night. And he had been out fishing with LJ. And LJ wrote me this a little earlier. And I want to read it to you because he couldn't be here tonight. But He said, I'll tune in late. They got Taco Thursday night. He goes, but I wanted to tell you a story about Eric. A while back, a year or two ago, I received an email from a mother wanting to get a trip for her son with me. We planned the trip. She said Eric was so excited. And on May 8th, Dawn, Eric's mother, showed up at Van's Tavern with Eric. Eric and I eased out from the ramp and talked a little. He said he wanted to learn all he could about sonar, drop shot fishing, and to become an overall better angler. Throughout the day, it was 100 questions while we were catching fish. Topwater, jerk shad, Seville, and a little drop shot. We boated some good fish. Eric went crazy on one place when the fish came up schooling and wouldn't go down for a while. We put 9 or 10 in the boat, and he had a great right then and had a great day. Eric told me he'd love to go fishing with me again when the fish were down doing a drop shot, to do more drop shot. And we planned another trip for June 10th. That trip, we headed out and laughed all day drop shot fishing. I mean, we had 25 plus in the boat with some good ones. He loved what we were doing and seeing things happening in real time on the Humminbird. Man, this really sparked his fishing, and he just asked questions and soaked things in. That day, he fell in love with LJ's Obsession, Blue Lily, and Sweet Rosie. And from that day on, Eric and I talked all the time, and I would give him tips and info. I worked on his boat, installed his sonars, and became a quote-unquote old friend. We were closer than people knew, and I would see him and his dad at the ramp all the time. And, of course, his favorite ramp was Van's Tavern, now affectionately known as Van Beasley. That's for us. We met there for the first time. We'd see each other on the lake talk, and I'd get info from him on how his day was going. This isn't a story meant to be funny. It's a story about how an older man took a young man under his wings and became friends. The key, it was through fishing. So, folks, don't get mad or bothered if a young fisherman wants to learn. I lost a good friend Sunday, one that I will never forget. And that's from Harmon. Now, if you know anything about LJ,
That's a lot of big words for
it is a lot of big words for Harmon, and the tone, because LJ cracks jokes at funerals and stuff like that. That's just the man. Everything he is serious. I mean, not serious. It's funny. He's cracking jokes. But right here, especially that last part, the key that they became friends was through fishing. So again, good advice from LJ. If you have a younger angler, they're not a pain. Take them under your wings, teach them a little bit, but you might just get more than a student. You might actually get a friend. And that's kind of what happened here with us. Cause I remember when people come in the store all the time, and some people like to just sit around, but he kept coming and kept coming. And he in an affectionate way grew on us. Mm-hmm. He grew on us and just became one of the guys. And that's the thing. And he knew more about fishing than I did, and I'm 50. He was 17. He far was superior in knowledge like that, but became a friend. And that's a cool thing. And it is good stuff from LJ. And guys, listen, pull up Cooper McDonald right there. Let's read that one.
I had that up for a minute.
Did you? I'm sorry, I didn't say it. So the first memory I ever had was at a fishing tournament in December, and I said, "Look at the idiot that has shorts on." I'm serious. Listen, not something that we have not thought. So that's good. But for LJ to write something like that, that was awesome. Now, Tyler, you guys that are putting CT and quote unquote the moose knuckle, I've got that footage pulled up, and I didn't know if it was appropriate yet to put on the page, but I do have it cut out. And I may post it later. I may wait a little bit, but I do have the actual 9 minutes from that episode. You don't need to be watching it with children. I'll say that. But where he affectionately became CTBs, where the legend of CTBs started from. And so I'll post
discretion is advised.
Viewer discretion is advised on that. We had a little fun.
It is for most of our best work.
It absolutely is some of the funniest stuff you've seen on this show. I mean, even Ryan was embarrassed, and he was here. And
I was at home rolling, laughing.
You should have been here. And that's another thing too. You can watch this stuff on our show, and you can laugh with us and all that. But when you're in the actual room, you're seeing, and that night, the way you described him was his face is as red as a fire.
His face is as red as a fire crawl chatterbait.
Fire crawl chatterbait.
He turned red, and I've never seen somebody turn red so fast.
He go, and at one point, and I don't know if you got that far in it, he goes, "I hate you guys," and he got up and he walked off. But here's the thing: He was back a minute
come
later.
back.
He came back right a minute.
He was
later.
glutton for more
He
punishment.
goes, I hate you guys. And then he made this comment like, they're holding me under, I can't get away from here. They're holding me hostage or something. And I was too busy talking about not wearing underwear. Like that. I missed it. I totally
Of
missed
course
it.
you were.
We were talking about not wearing underwear that night. So, Cooper, he was a good friend, and definitely, let's see, where'd that go right there? Definitely the one to worry about at tournaments. And that echoes on what Ryan was saying. At every tournament, at every level, there's always a handful of guys that when you pull up to the ramp, you know who the competition is.
Mhm.
And Eric had established himself as that guy in that age group right there. He had established himself as that. And that was
And
like
he would swing against the best sticks on the lake.
Oh, absolutely. He
Yeah.
loved that.
I had a conversation earlier this week with Scott Barnes about it. He fished his tournaments over there with some of the biggest sticks on Lake Lanier
Yeah. And it wouldn't have been long before he'd have been the stick.
and would go toe to toe with them.
Yeah, absolutely. What's up, Lee Gibson? Yeah. So, Kim Burke, that was probably the number one show. We actually, you'll hear it in the comments when I do post it. We thought it might be the last Livewell episode out there.
Gonna get booted.
We were going to get booted and all that. So,
Banned for life.
I think I might post it tonight, but again, I'll put the disclaimer that don't watch it with small children in the room and stuff like that. But it does show Beasley. It shows the way we hazed him a little bit as older brothers, as like that. So it was good stuff. So, but I will tell you this too. Now, here's something that he'd irritate us too. He would irritate us, and it was because of his confidence and his cockiness. It wasn't in a brash way, but he expected when he got on the water, it's 20 pounds. I'm going to catch him. I'm going to catch him. And me and Ryan, how many times we try to talk him, and listen, you got to be able to take the bad day with the good day and all that. But he was convinced if he was fishing, wasn't he? There's going to be 20 pounds. There's 20 pounds out there somewhere, and I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes after he would leave, Ryan and I would be like, man, we're gonna have to get with that kid. We're gonna have to get it. But he refused to accept that.
Ryan's got to tell the Gussie story.
Tell it.
Yeah. What from the
very beginning, the text you got.
It was cool, Georgia
It
Dog.
was a Friday morning in February, and I guess he was out of school or skipping school. His parents let him do that a lot, I think, because he maintained such good grades. But I woke up a little late that morning, and it's probably about 7:30 before I woke up, and I was like, crap, I won't roll into the store till like 8:30, 9 o'clock nearly.
Which is usual now.
Which is usual. But, well, you haven't disciplined me yet.
I can tell I don't roll in until 9:30.
Most of the time I beat Danny here.
He does.
But I roll over, I grab my phone, and there's there's 3 text messages. They say, Eric Beasley, every single one of them. I opened them up, and he's like, oh my God. He's like, I'm at Van's Tavern, and Jeff Gustafson's here. In the text. The next text, about 2 minutes later, should I go over and talk to him? And like he was waiting on me to
that shower.
He was wanting me to reply like right then and there so bad. This was at like a little bore 7. And I was asleep, so I didn't know. And then a picture. And then I didn't hear anything else back from him again until that evening. And then he told me all about what happened. Little did I know that Jeff followed him on Instagram after that. And Beasley and Jeff, they messaged. Jeff told me today that they messaged every now and again back and forth. And Jeff said, I followed him. And Jeff, it blew me away today when Jeff was finally able to reply to my message I sent him Monday morning. I just felt like in my heart, I was like, you know what? He looked up, out of everybody, he looked up to Jeff Gustafson hard.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
hard.
that was his idol.
Hard.
He
That
took time with
It
him.
was his idol. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that was one of the reasons why I think, because he took some time out of his morning to do that. And he continued to take time out of his life as his, because, you know, professional anglers, we think we have busy schedules. Their schedules is twice as what our schedules are. You know, everybody thinks professional bass fishing is just, oh, you're just must be nice to run around and go bass fishing all the time. No, it's not.
Mhm.
I know a couple of pros
Shows and
I
everything
know a
else they
couple
got
of
on their
pros
plate.
personally, and they have no time to breathe. You know, they live on fast food, gas station food.
Mhm.
They live in their vehicles, and they thank God when they're home for 3 days.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. But Gussie messaged me back, and he asked for Eric's mom's Dawn's cell phone number, and we got it to him and stuff. And anyway, and then for those of you that know that seen it on there on Facebook and stuff today, that follow him, and then seen it on the group page because somebody shared it, his post on the group page. You know, that he took his time out of his day to make a little post, and I can't stress. He said it twice in the messages that he sent me back on Facebook. He said it 2 different times, and I'll let Dane read them too.
I read
So
them
he's
earlier.
seen it. He said it 2 different times, guys. I'm heartbroken.
Mhm.
And then another time he said, my heart aches. My heart aches.
Mhm.
You know, and it's just that you can just by watching us and listening to us talk about Eric, think about what kind of impression Eric made on him,
Mhm.
on Gustafson.
Right.
One of the
I mean,
top guys out of Canada.
I mean, he don't have to. Gussie doesn't have to. He can, pat him on the back, blah blah blah, talk to him for 20 minutes about ramp, and then be on about his business.
Right.
But no, they actually kind of developed somewhat of a little relationship over Instagram together. So I will say this: if you don't follow him on Facebook or Instagram, go give him a follow,
That's absolutely right.
and give Jeff a follow, and follow along him.
And root for him.
Because I mean that guy's as good as gold, man.
He's
I
a
mean,
good dude.
I've sent other professionals some messages from like me personally saying stuff, and they read them and go on.
Mhm.
They never ever reply.
Right.
Mhm.
There's a handful of them though that are good as gold,
Mhm.
and they're no different than just because they're professional anglers, and they may have won a couple of major tournaments in their career so far. There's a lot of them that they act like, and they're no different than us.
Yeah.
And they don't want to be.
They haven't
They
forgot
don't
where
want to
they
be
came
treated
from.
any different than us either.
Mhm.
That's right.
So I just want to say that. I want to say that about Gussie, and also before we move on, I give a shout out to Georgia Bass Nation. I thought that was a really cool move Monday evening, where they changed their. If you go over to, I don't think it's changed, but if you go over to their Facebook page on Georgia Bass Nation, their background, their cover photo is a picture of Eric.
Yeah.
It's a picture of Eric. So at one of the picture that was taken at one of their tournaments. So
I want to read. You don't have to pull it up. Can you scroll down just a tad? I want to read that long post that's right up there. That one. Yeah. See.
Go for it.
Okay. So, guys, this is from Facebook user. And again, if you're on Facebook, and you can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and enter your name right there. And then on our comments, it'll come up your name instead of Facebook user. But I want to read this one because this right here, and I'll speak to it in a second. Never met you guys, but love you all and feel your pain. I didn't know Eric personally, but I felt as though we fished together every day. I lost my best friend many years back, and I know the pain you all feel. Just know every day will get better, and he'd want everyone to keep on keeping on. Tight lines, brother. God bless. Now, the first, and thank you very much for that comment, but the first 3 sentences of that: never met you guys, number 1, but love you all and feel your pain. That is a testament to this community and what we do. And Eric, and you watched him here and all that. I felt as though we fished together every day. And that's because you guys come here and we get to know you through the comments. You get to know us. and all that. That right there, that comment right there makes me feel really, really good inside. And it also is a testament to the connection that we all try to make with you guys, but especially like a young kid. How many 17-year-olds can you say, you know, I felt like we fished together? We ain't never been fishing, and I don't know you, but I felt like we have fished together. And so that's awesome. That right there just, yeah. Hell yeah. I'm sorry. That's the only way to say that. That's what we want to do, and that's what we're trying to do. And Beasley is, you know, will always help us in that regard, stuff like that. So actually too, we're going to have we're going to get his mom is going to give us one of his shirts and stuff like that. So we're going to move this stuff around, and we're going to have our memorial to him. So every episode he's going to be here regardless.
Yeah.
Every episode
He ain't leaving.
He ain't leaving. And I'm a little, people might think this is strange, but I don't believe in death. Physical body, yes, but I believe it's a continuation day. You go on to your greater reward and all stuff like that. And I can tell you right now that the good Lord's probably going, you know, he's probably getting pestered by Beasley right now. You know, I can see Beasley, hey, where are they biting? You know, where are they biting at? Can you make the wind blow a little bit more? I want to throw top water today. And I can see like Beasley, look at all these streets of gold and all this. And Beasley's like, no, listen, seriously, can you give me just about 5 more miles per hour some wind? I mean, I really want to throw this top water today. I don't want to have to drop shot. I want to throw the top water. I could see it right now. So, but he will always be here, and that's great. And you're right. We're going to keep doing this because the best way that we can honor him is to do what he loved and what we loved. And then again, now I want to bring up this too. And this goes to you guys out there that are parents. Okay. One of the things that Beasley had in his corner was 2 of the most supportive parents
yes,
that
absolutely.
a
I
kid could
can't say
have.
enough about what Dave
Cannot
and
say
Don
enough.
both done.
Like Scott told me, you know, last time he fished one of their tournaments,
They're there.
here's mom at the ramp with him before daylight, or
Absolutely.
dad, you know,
Yeah.
before that, helping him put the boat in,
Yes.
and all that.
And so they found out what their kid loved. They made not only a monetary investment in it, but they made a time investment.
They helped nurture his love that he was developing.
Right.
For
A
it.
time investment. And like when I talked to Dave, he was like, you know, he loved it. And we loved that he loved it, you know, and we wanted, that's what made their kid happy. And of all the things that 17-year-old boys could be doing, you know, that was a hell of a thing to do, a good thing. And they supported it. But did you know he was in the band?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know he was in the band.
Mm-hmm.
I had no idea. He missed the show one night. He said, I can't come because of a band recital. And I thought it was, you know, maybe his sister or had another brother that was playing in a band, you know. Come to find out after talking to his dad, he was like an award-winning saxophone player.
Mm-hmm.
And I know why he didn't tell us. Because he knew, sure as enough, the second I found out that he could play an instrument, because we knew he couldn't sing.
He'd be down here on camera playing Sweet Child of Mine on saxophone.
We figured out the boy could not sing. But if I'd have known he could play the saxophone, we'd have got him to record like an intro to this show every single time like that. Or he'd been down here playing
live.
So he hid that from me. The boy hid that from me. Now, he knew what he was doing when he hid that from me. So, but anyway, again, so, you know, Paul, you got to fish with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couple 3 times.
Yeah. Tell everybody about the experiences like that, how that went.
Fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, it's like when we went out, it was more fun fishing, more my speed.
Right.
Like I if anything, I was probably the anchor dragging us down. He'd sit on a spot and we BS'd a lot. We had a lot of fun. We caught a lot of fish. And it was always funny because like I felt like I was slowing him down a lot. When we get to the end of the day and he'd look at me and he'd go, you know, we kind of had a sneaky good day in there somewhere. Like we probably put 17, 18 pounds in the boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was just, we fish really well together. And I think that's one of the things. Last Thursday, we were talking about like summer tournament schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to get out and fish a couple tournaments over the summer. I was trying like hell to talk him into fishing river schedule with us on kayak side.
Right. And he liked fishing kayaks. He'd done that before.
Because we had we had the Etowah, which has been on fire, and the Okmulgee, which is always good, and a couple others. And I was like, oh, dude, you're going to be on summer vacation. Come with us, just to see. Because then that was him. He burned for competition.
He did. He liked it.
He liked it. I mean, didn't just like it.
Like
just,
Michael Jordan liked it.
Just,
yeah.
I said it on one of the posts, just reveled in it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from just the first second of practice right up until weigh-in. And as soon as weigh-in was done, it was on to the next one.
That's
and
right.
Just the commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, and it's a luxury that as adults, as grown-ups that we don't get to have very often, is that just clarity and just singularity of purpose that you got one thing to do and you get to do it just to the utmost.
The utmost, absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
And man, he was a good fisherman.
He was good.
God, he just loved it.
He was.
I mean,
good.
oh yeah.
And most of the days that we fished, they weren't always good days. I mean, we went out on just grinders and you just work at them.
He loved it. He loved his gear too. He had like his specific favorites and stuff.
Yeah, the G Loomis everything.
G Loomis. Got to be G Loomis.
Mr. G Loomis, Mr. Seagar.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, and that was the thing, and that's the thing that a lot of us are fair weather when it comes down to it. A lot of us are probably fair weather guys.
Right.
He liked the grind.
Yeah.
Just invited it. The harder the day was, the more he liked it. I mean, going and schwacking them is always fun, but
right.
I think he really felt the reward that came from going out and putting in that extra work.
He did do that, yeah.
And being out there daylight to dark.
Yeah. And did not like not getting the fish. Like if he couldn't get on the water, it bummed him out.
Ate at him.
There's several times he walked through the door here during the middle of the day. I'm like, oh God, you're not on the water.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You nail him with that too.
I was like, geez. Yeah.
That shows what kind of good-hearted person.
What kind of he was and how his parents are.
Yeah.
Right there what Cooper said.
That's a great comment, Cooper.
Yeah, they always come and encouraged and wish me and Jake luck.
There's something like you like to talk about PMA. And I thought about it the other day when you went live on Monday about, kind of get the hate out of your heart.
Yeah.
And we talk about it a lot here off camera about like the drama in tournament fishing and some of the pettiness that goes on. And he just as a person, and you said, Dane, you said wise beyond his years, as a person just had no place for that in his being.
Mm-hmm.
Just positive guy.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't matter, on the water, day good, day bad, same person.
Yeah, that's right. Consistently.
Didn't have time for drama.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't interested in it.
I had one PMA conversation with him that lasted 15 seconds. I didn't have to get into any kind of.
Yeah. But
I said what I said. I can't even remember what I said, but he was like, "Oh no, dude, if you're thinking like that, you're wasting your time."
Tell everybody what PMA when
it just stands for positive mental attitude,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of a psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever, I can't remember if it was a psychiatrist or a life coach, can't remember, gave this saying to Gerald Swindle, and then Gerald Swindle started a couple years later making these wristbands and stuff like that. So
we're going back to the comment about he wanted everybody to do well. Don't get me wrong. He wanted to kick your butt.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
But he wanted everybody
to
do
just
well.
don't kick butt as much as I like it. That's exactly
he wanted to kick your butt.
He did. And he
wanted you to catch 17 pounds,
but he wanted 20.
But he wanted 20.
Yeah.
Well, I think he got it. Like it's like I try to tell guys this, that on tournament day, like I'm not worried about anybody else. Worried about me.
Right. On tournament day.
And a lot of people like seem to have that trouble. They're worried about
there's a bunch of people like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's 20, 30 40 guys in the field and they're worried about 39 of them
Mhm.
instead of
Yeah.
being worried about one of them.
One of 'em.
And I think he had that just almost innately
Mhm.
that he was, I am going to control what I am going to control.
Yes.
And he had the freedom to be positive about those other people
Oh yeah.
because
right.
his head was right. His mind was clear.
And he was at such a young age
It's
already. He
remarkable,
was-
man.
At such a young age, he already had the mentality of something that took me 10 years nearly to finally drill home into my head and in my heart. It's not about me versus you. I care less what you do.
Mhm.
It's about me versus what's in the water.
Yeah.
And it took me a long time to get to the point where I could care less if I'm fishing against Kevin Van Dam or anything. It's about what I can do that day. And that says a lot about Eric, that at such a young age, he already had that grasp and he already had that
Yeah.
fully
Figured out.
cemented
Oh,
in his
absolutely.
brain, that it's not about who I'm fishing against. It's about me
Mhm.
Yeah.
and what I do on the
It's about
water.
me going out and putting the puzzle together the right way.
Yes.
And the excitement he had with that 20-pound bag.
Yeah.
Oh,
Man, it was
my.
all spots.
Oh,
all spots.
20 pounds. All
All
spots.
spots.
Y'all remember
All spots.
y'all remember that high school tournament he had in 1990? And you remember he came in that Thursday and we're like, hell of a job, dude. Hellacious bag. What did he say?
He didn't like it. It wasn't 20.
He goes, I could have had 20.
Yeah.
I was like, you had 1990. I was like,
Yeah,
what are
he
you
did.
talking about? I was like, you lost water weight between the Livewell and the scales. I mean, it's just like,
And that goes to his, he is very, he had a dry sense of humor.
Oh,
But
yeah.
He had a very dry sense of humor, but also too, when he would do that, he was like, he was dead serious. Yeah, I could have had 20. He
No,
believed in his mind.
He wasn't kidding.
No, he was not kidding.
Well, I think isn't that everybody? Is that every fisherman? That if we like to second guess ourselves,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I do it every time on the way home.
but I don't think he was necessarily second guessing himself. But a lot of the times it's like, man, if you'd seen it just a little quicker.
Pull up Sydney's comment.
Oh, that's his sister.
That's his sister
Yeah,
right there.
that's
So I
his
want to
sister.
read this. So thank you guys for this. Our whole family is watching right now and cracking up. You know what? Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, because y'all shared Eric with us, and I'm serious. Y'all really don't know what we tried to do to that boy. Y'all really have no idea what we tried to do to that boy. We couldn't crack him. He was very well raised, because Lord knows we tried. I mean, we tried, but listen, we appreciate and we love you guys watching. And
Thank you for allowing us. Thank you for allowing him to spend all the time that he wanted to spend with all of us.
yeah, because he got to
With us
come
Gooners.
freely.
Yeah, we really mean that
Well, he
from the
probably
bottom
did
of
us
our
more
heart.
good than we ever did
Oh,
him.
hell, I know that's for
Like,
sure.
yeah.
That's absolutely positive. That's probably the most factual comment that was made tonight. But again,
We can say this, all of us sitting at this table, his family watching. Just because he's gone, he will never be forgotten.
no,
And we will
he ain't
continue.
gone.
We will continue to.
Well, Tuesday night when Andrew picked up the drop shot,
Mhm.
he said, "This is for bees."
That's for bees, absolutely. And we had a guy, and I'll have to show you the picture. And this happened before the show. Nathan Skinner did a kind of, I don't know what you want to call it. It's like a drawing of Beasley holding up some fish. And I said, if my wife wouldn't kill me, I'd get that tattooed on my shoulder.
Yeah.
It's that good and all that. But again, seriously,
I mean, she wouldn't really kill you.
oh, I don't know. She didn't like the one I got the first time, so I don't know. She made.
What was that one?
Well, that was the
just name of
tramp
my.
stamp.
I got the name of my kids. And
He
she was
has barbed wire hearts on his shoulder.
like that. That's it.
He's got a rose bush growing up his back.
Oh no!
This is no lie.
Get the anchor that
It's a
says
cross.
"Mom."
It's a cross. Mom. Oh, mom. It's
Yeah.
a cross, and it's got my kids' names all around it. And it's really cool artwork. I need to
And
get
she
it
went in
redone.
on you for that.
She goes, "What are you gonna do? Forget your kids' names? You had to put it on your arm so you wouldn't forget your kids' name." That's my wife. I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. So
Well, does she not know that you have your all's anniversary programmed in your phone with a yearly reminder?
listen, I got married on Valentine's Day, so I wouldn't forget. This boy was smart. I was smart. Yeah, but anyway, but no, seriously, Sydney.
Sounds good, Nathan. Thank you.
Also, too, and I'm gonna listen. And this is a great thing. People have been reaching out to us about what they could do at the service and stuff like that. And this is one of the most unusual things that was asked of me today, but it kind of really meant something. Pinkston asked if he could bring nuts.
Yeah.
Pinkston asked at the service, "Do you think they'd care if I brought some of my nuts out and laid them all like that?"
Because we're talking about Pinkston.
Because we talked about Pinkston's nuts. And
So what did you say?
I said, "Hell yeah, bro!" I said, "I'll talk to Dad, but I don't see why anybody would care." But see, that's the way, in his strange way.
Yeah, that's how he could do it.
That's how he could honor it, because Eric would always sit over there. You want some of Pinkston's nuts and stuff like that, and no, like that. But I, things like that, and that's kind of what has gotten me through the last few days. Is people reaching out, people saying this, but they want to do something in their own little peculiar way, in their own strange way, because they loved the kid, and that's it. And I don't know how many people.
I just remember the first time he pulled a sweet spin out of the package up there. Yeah, I don't know, I could run pretty good. He's sitting there playing with the blade, and I'm like, "It's a pretty good fish head." He's like, "Yeah, it looks like it. But try me some of those."
What about, you remember the family tree?
Yes, the family
The
tree.
family
See,
tree.
no,
The family tree was the best
The
one
family
ever.
tree was funny because that's when I talk about a moment that went over y'all's head.
Yes.
He was joking.
Yes.
And when we say that his parents and his sister still watching, they're about to die. I know they're going
And
to
he
die.
said
all
that
of the shows are on
Ryan, for
YouTube.
whatever the reason, you swung and missed and took him serious when he said that
He
the family tree was a
We were trying to get him a
straight line.
We're
girl.
trying to get him a girlfriend. We're talking
Straight line
about. I was sitting over there, and he was over here, and we were talking about. I can't remember what we were talking about, but anyway, we were talking about something on the show.
We were talking about hot cousins.
Yeah, we got to talk about. Danny said something. He's like, "You got a cousin or something that we can call to go on a date with?" And it was like, God.
I got
And
some
he
hot
goes,
cousins.
he's over there. He's like, no. My family's. I don't know what you're talking about. My family tree's straight. And I looked at him like, Beasley, you don't want your family tree to be straight, dude. You want some branches. It's like, hey, he kind of looked like, and then it dawned on him.
It dawned on him, he caught it.
But that's the thing, though, is that he knew that was a joke from go.
Yeah.
And y'all, like,
We jumped on it. We did. We had to.
he was,
Oh, look,
he was,
Pinkston, look at Pinkston. Guess that's a compliment.
he was fishing for you goobers. He
He
put
was.
the drop shot out there for old Ryan, and
Yeah.
And he
oh,
hooked-
my family tree is a twig. And Ryan just went,
Yeah.
like,
we did.
he gut hooked you so bad.
I swallowed that thing.
That
all
was
the way.
funny.
I was behind the keyboard just dying.
I
And
know.
that's what we were talking about upstairs, that he was sometimes real sly with the humor. Like,
Oh yeah.
if you
But
didn't,
most people
if
with
you
dry sense of humors are like that.
yeah, if you didn't know him and if you weren't waiting for it or real quick,
Right.
God, you could miss it.
Oh, I
the
missed
little
the
one-
one-liners
and-
were that.
Yeah, and then just boom, little drop.
Yeah.
And then either you'd miss or you'd take it the wrong way. And then, like, I know for me, that became like two jokes.
Yes,
it was double up.
You knew the original intent, and you knew what the
Oh, I'd
idiots
be-
did
I'd
with it
be
after
back
that.
there-
You know,
I'd be
because
back
that's
there
it.
cackling.
I
God, he was funny.
I need to pull up the Sweet Child of Mine singing. I think that would be a good one. That needs to be like, we should intro every show with that, like that. But that was part of the joy of Beasley. Just
Mhm.
but he took it so well. He took it so well because we were hard on the boy at some.
Oh, he
some of the
could
stuff,
take
but
it.
He could take it, but he took it. He's sitting there going like, if he thought of us like brothers, I got some really dumb older brothers like that. Like I'm the only one in this place with any brains, because Brian and Danny are over there just going crazy and all that. But I'll never
Me
forget
and you
that.
think literally.
We do. We
Yeah,
do.
we do.
We're not cerebral or however you want to
No.
say smart people. We just go with it. But that was the joy of it. And it's just, oh my gosh, it was those are the things that we will always have. And when we do an all-time highlight video, eventually we're going to do that. There's going to be some good episodes with Beasley in it and the stuff that he did. But I got to going back last night. Again, I couldn't see, and I was watching, and that, like you said, there's so much that I missed
Blink and you miss it.
Oh, I
It's like
missed it. And just going back and watching it, and I'm like, that little bastard was insulting me. I'm like, he's over there making fun of me, and I got no clue.
You could tell. You could tell when he was like chomping at the bit because he would sit here like this.
Yeah, he did that.
Just start turning a little.
And I go, Beasley, you awake?
And then here,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just listening.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening. Where is that? Do we still have that worm?
The anaconda?
The anaconda worm. I'll always remember the anaconda worm and all that. You take this and you put it on a hook and you throw it out and you reel it in, and that's how you fish.
That's how you fish.
I'm like,
yeah, man.
Yeah, okay. That was it.
You ask, he told.
Well,
literally.
Now let me ask you this. Do you remember the first time you met him? Because mine's going to be a little bit different than y'all's. Can you remember the first time you met Beasley?
I had to be that show with
It
LJ.
was-
Because
Okay.
if I was on the board.
Is that the first time? So when we first started this show,
I'm trying to remember, like, he just kind of, it's like you said, though, he just kind of became a fixture.
he just kind of showed up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He was just here, and
The first
he
time
just
I met
became
him,
part of what we did.
it was about 3 years ago. We were doing a live at Jimbo's fishing seminar when he had it in Gwinnett. I think it was Gwinnett. It might have been
2 years ago.
2 years.
Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Not this past year, but the year before last.
Well, the year before he had to cancel, and so it was the year before that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That and so whatever that was, but he was always in the comments. Eric Beasley would be this, and we were like, this kid's just smart. Well, all of a sudden, we're sitting there one day, and I'm on the show, and we're at the place over at Gwinnett. And I'm talking, I think it was Gwinnett, and we're talking blah 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 blah. And I look up, and here's this man with this kid, and the kid's sitting there looking at me, and his eyes are like that big, and he's just looking at me. And he introduced, and I got to put a name with a face, but it was almost like he thinks I'm really famous or something like that. He's like, I just wanted to meet you guys and all that. And I was like, we went home, Josh and I went home, and we were talking about, can you believe that kid come up and was wanted to see us.
Thought you were somebody.
We thought we were somebody because Beasley come up and introduced himself with his dad and was talking and all that. But yeah, then once he figured out we had the store, him and his dad would come. They'd show up and all that, and Beasley he just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, making sure his hands covered the CT and twirling the chair.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what,
That's what he done.
I'm going to put that video out tonight after the show.
Oh,
You think I should or shouldn't?
I could go either way on it.
You could go either way on it. Maybe I'll wait.
I'd probably let it breathe a little.
Okay, we're going to let it breathe. But I will put that out.
Dylan's comment one time, I thought Beasley fell asleep on the show.
It just depended on what we were talking about.
I said, Beasley, you awake?
That's-
Mhm.
That's a Ryan thing sometimes too.
It is a me thing.
It is. It is you. Well, especially if we're talking drop shotting.
Ryan looks like he's napping. Beasley was.
Leaning back.
Blake was.
Beasley's over
Blake
here.
was the phone came out. He's playing.
Blake's on the
he's
phone.
watching TikTok.
Ryan naps, and Beasley, he kind of leaned back and rocked a little bit, and he's just
Yeah.
kind of like that. So Corey here, loved you guys, and great idea doing a show like this. Eric was as genuine as they come.
Yes, sir.
Well, we didn't know what else to do, but get up here and tell a story. That's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. So what do you do? Like, honestly, if you go to a funeral, 99% of the time, guys like us end up outside. We got to dip in, or we're smoking a cigarette, or whatever we're doing, and we're telling stories about whoever we're there with.
Mhm.
And so, what else can you do but this? Because that's how we grieve.
Mhm.
I did my crying and all that, but that's how we did. Power fishing put Beasley to
how
sleep.
wrong he is.
No, actually, you don't know.
you
Seriously,
don't
Farmer,
realize.
that kid, he didn't talk about it as much, but he loved the power
He
fish.
walked around. That one thing about he walked around with a hood over his head.
No, I think it boiled down to he didn't want to give up the juice
That might have been it.
about power fishing.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I say he walked around with a hood over his head. He act like he was, if Beasley come, he was very good at putting on the persona that, and we all probably know guys like this, especially probably like me and Dane do. Paul probably does too, but I know me and Dane do especially. If they show up at the end of the tournament and they had a good catch, you can pretty much assume what they called them on.
Mm-hmm.
They were biting that drop shot today.
Yeah.
Beasley had a lot of people fooled with when he would show
What's
up.
up, Kurt?
They're biting that drop shot today.
His ass was
In
throwing-
reality,
yeah.
he was doing something completely different.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different.
So He was so talk about just how, and that's why I said my little post I made remembering him.
Like we were talking
I
about
didn't want to call him a kid.
Yeah,
he was a young man.
He was sly.
He was a young man.
Yeah.
And I'll never refer to him as anything else other than a young man. He was wise beyond his years. Yeah.
But you were talking about him as a versatile angler, and he certainly was.
Yeah.
Man.
Absolutely.
He'd try anything.
He would try anything.
No fear.
20-pound bag, 5 spots.
Yeah.
Beasley, what'd you catch him on drop shot? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But then, as you mentioned earlier, that he was a tinkerer. He very much was.
He was a tinker.
And so that would be the thing, is like he might tell you it was a fluke, but by the time he was throwing it,
it was something completely.
It wasn't a fluke no more.
Every time I saw Seville on the deck of Beasley's boat, I got worried.
Yeah.
He liked it. He liked it. He did that. But you know what? I mean, he was sly and he was coy. But like when I had talked with his father, he goes, he didn't take you out when he took us fishing. He goes, he didn't take you to his best spots. And I said, I know. Every good angler's doing that. Sort of like me with an A-rig. Everyone thinks it's all I throw. That's right, Tim. Because it is. It is. It's what you become. Well, I see you throwing it a lot, but it is. You're absolutely right, 100%.
That's the thing that's going to suck about these more and more of these Tuesday nighters we do. Everybody thinks I fish shallow and stuff all the time.
And all you throw is a white horn.
They're not going to realize how like actual offshore stuff I actually fish.
You do. You do. Somebody asked me about it. I said, well, no, he was searching for that one big, he was trying to get that one big blow up on camera with that horny toad. I said, I promise you, he does more stuff than that. I get to fish with him, so I know that. So, Jeremiah, be safe, buddy. Going to catch some tarpon.
Have a safe
trip,
flight.
Safe travels, sir. Good luck.
That boy gets to fish everywhere too.
Yeah.
So,
the day upstairs, Beasley asked me, "Do you really catch all them fish on wacky worm?" I said, "Beasley, yes." I'm an open book when it comes to it.
Yep.
Do you really catch them at night on a wacky worm? Yes.
Yeah.
And
do you know why I throw a wacky worm? Because of you.
It works.
It works. I honestly
but he was like, "Do you really?" And I'm like, "Yes." And he goes, "No, really, do you?"
I believe you did.
Yes.
The other thing I love too, many episodes with all the different manner of topics that we talked about. We'd say something and we'd be talking. And then someone would throw out something that was like, that's like old school. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I've done that. I can't tell you how many times I look across the table and I'm like, how do you know? It's like, you ain't never done that.
Oh yes, I have. But I tell you what, he also
he just liked to hear about fishing.
He did.
Like he'd talk to me about going up north and going salmon fishing.
What's up, Harold Grizzle?
Going fish for shoalies or whatever. I mean, stuff that he.
One of his favorite stories was about getting kicked off of
it wasn't a wacky one that hit me
because they were fishing it after hours or something.
Dinkery log.
But he also he liked that. He goes, I grew up brim fishing. I grew up there. He would talk to you about. I mean, he was immersed in all of it. Oh, I love that. But that's one thing he always said. Oh, I love that. I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love doing that. I love doing that.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm gonna go back to.
I remember that's awesome.
That's awesome. That's it.
I'm gonna go back to a comment that was made real early in the show. You'll never find out.
I'll get you a second.
Here's the challenge for you. Come up with a special edition jig, spinnerbait, something.
The Beasley edition.
Yeah,
we can do that. I absorbed those comments in my head with thinking that I saw them and all that.
I would say it's got to be a spinnerbait because I remember one of the times that we fished. We pull up on this point. We've been having a pretty tough day. And I pulled out the spinnerbait and I got a couple on it, and we were laughing about it. And because when I pulled out the spinnerbait, oh man, you're really gonna throw the spinnerbait here? Come on, come on. I whack like 3 good ones, and it was like, yeah, man, ain't nobody ever caught no fish on a spinner jig. I was dying.
Let me answer that for Georgia Dogs. Actually, it was a True Grit Ned head the other night when we were fishing. I reared back, and Ryan had the boat turned this way, and I was going to try. He was casting off to this side. And I was going to try to cast this.
Danny's face.
I turned around, and I was going to skip it, And I mean, I whipped that joker right in the middle of Ryan's back. It goes, wow. And I was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you don't say, oh my God. You go, oh my God, are you all right? And I'm like, I turn around and I'm like, damn. I turn around and look at the deck of my boat and all I see is a Ned head. And I'm like, I'm true grit Ned heads are tough. I went back and listened to it. You can't freaking hear me say it, but I did. I said, I'm true. Danny's standing there like this.
I
can't believe I just hit him. And I just said, I'm glad it wasn't something with the treble hooks.
And I threw it pretty hard. I mean, I was trying to go this way, and I just let go too quick, and it did. It just squared him up. And it was almost like that slow motion that I watched the second it released. And I was like, pow, and Ryan, you see his shoulders kind of flinch a little bit. Like, oh, no, that's got to hurt. So, anyway, yeah.
Harold said, I'll never forget the night I met him.
Yeah, it's good. You know,
he was gung ho. Harold gave him some serious BFL advice, and I think it went in one ear and out the other. Harold gave him a heartfelt. Listen, fish is a co-angler for a year or two.
Yep.
You know, and I swear to God, it went in one. It just went.
Because he's already got his mind.
He already has mind made
up.
Yeah. Here we have probably one of the top most accomplished men that's ever fished out of the back of the boat in the state of Georgia and the BFL level. And I don't think nobody out of the back of the boat's probably won as much money or as much trophies as he has. And he's like, I ain't gonna say he ain't no good or anything, but just fish so you can learn some of the lakes a little bit better. It went in. I saw those words go in Beasley's ear and out the other. He was like, I said everything to myself. I was like, Harold, you're wasting your breath.
It was, but that was Beasley. He had his mind made up and he knew what he was going to do. And, it was, he would have just jumped straight in. Oh, yeah, no, he was. He absolutely was going to do that.
Both feet.
Both feet.
Oh, head first. Not feet first, head first.
That's exactly right. And so then this is the stuff that we took for granted.
Yeah.
We took it for granted.
But see, we all just like with anything else and anybody else in life, we don't know. We could be sitting here next week talking about one of us.
Absolutely.
Gone.
Absolutely.
And I guess that echoes like to what Danny said the other day. You don't know until it's gone, and cherish all the moments that you got with someone.
Yeah.
But
for sure. But when you live your life right and you live it positive and you do the good stuff, when you do continue on, you leave a hole for a reason.
And I think that's what we're seeing right now.
Absolutely.
Specifically on social media stuff is just how much of I can't tell you how many comments I've read this week.
Goodness.
Of people that, a lot of them know him, but I can't tell you. I can't tell you how many I've read this week. I never met the guy. I only seen him on the show, but I felt like I knew him.
Yeah.
And
I heard that this week from a lot of people that I didn't even know watched the show.
Yeah.
See, ain't it funny how it is, and you just don't realize it. And we took it for granted that every Thursday night the punk was going to walk through the door.
Yeah.
But it does go to, good parents, good kid, great drive, did the things the right way. And, the passing's untimely, but the legacy is there. The effect of the life that you lived is there on people that you don't even realize you affected. You don't even realize it.
I can't remember who it was. I had my phone rung off the hook Monday. I can't remember who it was though. It was somebody though, but I answered or I called them back. I can't remember who it was right now. I have to go back and look, but because I've talked to so many people this week. I said, dude, I told him I was laughing. I was like, you couldn't have paid him to do anything mischievous.
We tried. We tried.
I mean, all he wanted to do.
It was not from a lack of trying.
It was not from a lack of. It was not from a lack of trying.
I'm telling you, Miss Beasley beat me to death if she knew all this stuff. I was trying to get that boy to do.
All of us. She'd be like Mama running around with a rolling pin. She'd be trying to chase us down.
And then she'd beat Daddy for letting him come up here, like that. So we try, but that's exactly right. He was on the straight.
He was. You couldn't have paid him to.
No.
We were up here one night talking about post high school stories, and we were talking about, Beasley, you enjoy your last year of high school coming up, blah blah blah. Once you get out, you'll get to experience some of the stuff that we're all talking about. And he was like, "No, I'll be getting ready for tournaments on Friday nights."
I'm gonna go fish.
I'll be too busy doing tackle. I'd laugh. It's just like, oh God.
We tried.
Live a little, dude.
we tried. There were so many times I drove home from here, and he would always, either him or Paul's behind me 9 times out of 10. Let's say stayed here and talked, and he's always behind me, and I'm like, I'm gonna get him. I mean, I would be just thinking stuff on the way home, like
scheming.
I'm going to get him to do something. I'm going to get the boy in trouble. I'm going to try, because it was armor. I couldn't crack him. There's not too many people I can't crack. I could not crack his butt. And that's a testament to his parents. It was a good job. They did a good job. They raised a good kid. But it was like, I think if we could ever get him to cut loose one time, though, he'd have been hell on wheels. I think he would have just been, I think he'd have been hell on wheels.
I think it'd have been wild.
I think he would have been a wild child.
It would have been one of them nights where it's like, get the phone out.
Get the phone out. What is Beasley doing? You know what, Michael? That's good. When I heard the news Monday morning, I hugged my daughter a little tighter. I got the pleasure to hug his dad. That was one of the best hugs I've had in a long time. It was under bad circumstances, but that was honestly one of the most genuine hugs I've had in a long, long time. And that's, and again, I think about this. I told Jonathan Farmer was up here, it could be us anytime.
Mm-hmm.
The same emotions would be there because we're a tight little bonded knit, and it's kind of unusual sometimes, especially when you're my age, to be getting text messages from a teenager or something like that. I'm an older guy, but it wasn't strange when Eric did it.
Is the door?
If it ain't, it's Dane's
Yeah,
fault.
I locked it.
If it ain't, Beasley's probably up there walking right now. You never know.
I just thought I
heard footsteps. But
no, seriously.
Do I need to go up there?
Might.
You going or I'll go?
Listen, Paul, give out.
I heard somebody laugh.
Listen, give out the girly scream because we'll come running if it's a girly scream. Take the kayak paddle.
Bring me a water.
He's taking the kayak paddle with him.
Right.
Boys, if I don't come back.
That's right. This building is
sorry
strange.
to distract, but you're sitting there talking, and I thought I heard somebody.
This building will do that too. There's been several times Josh and I have been down here, and it sounds like people walking upstairs, and I go flying up there.
We're in Marble Hill.
We are in the Marble Hill, but
many days have y'all left me here alone, and ain't nobody come in the store in the morning, and swear to God, somebody's walking upstairs.
It is a strange dude. Neil, again, I never met him, but it was like getting punched in the gut when I found out it was him. Yeah, I know. Same thing. And listen, I've told this story, and I'm going to tell it because if Miss Beasley is still watching, she tried to call me Sunday night, and I wasn't around my phone, and she sent me a messenger. When I came in,
hold on. You're not around your phone to answer?
No. I know. I'm
when
not
he's
the
at
best
home,
guy.
he's hard to get.
I was going to say that's no great shocker, but
yeah, I know. I'm not hard to get. I don't answer my
anyway,
phone.
she tried to call you. Sorry,
she tried to call it, and she was going to let me know the news. But this is the honest truth of how I was thinking when I came in Monday. I saw that. I sent her, I sent her a message back. And is Paul getting whipped upstairs? I think
he's
okay.
probably probably up there in that bucket of KFC.
He's got to get a piece of chicken. Honest to God, this is honest truth. When I saw that, I was like, I've done said something. I've done said something that got Beasley in trouble. I've done said something that got Beasley in trouble. And then when she said, "Are you at the shop?" I didn't realize what had gone on. And I thought Miss Beasley was coming up here to really get me an earful. Like I have got that boy in trouble and said something like that. So, but then when I got the news and found out, yeah, it was a terrible, terrible gut punch. So Paul survived. The ghost of Marble Hill did not get him. But you know what, Neil? The reason it felt like you got punched in the gut is exactly what we've been saying. And honestly, every one of us, if we would live our life right, the same will happen when we pass. Mm-hmm. When we live, and another thing too, and I said this on Monday in that little video, find your passion. It doesn't matter whether, I don't care if it's crocheting, but if you could do it with the effort and the intensity that Beasley did it with his fishing, you'll leave that legacy and stuff like that. So, Blake Nations, let me read that one right there. Mr. and Miss Beasley, y'all raised an outstanding young man. The world would be a better place with a lot more Erics in it.
Amen.
Absolutely.
Damn right.
Amen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's as factual a statement that, and again, man, I don't want to drag out tonight because I want it to end on a good positive note as best we can do it. But that right there, that statement says it all, you know, because he made our life better. He made our life better.
I said that earlier, and I think it bears repeating. In all the time I spent with Eric, I don't think I can remember him ever saying an unkind word about another person.
No. Not even being remotely ugly.
You know, I'm trying to think. I can't.
Like,
I really can't, honestly. And that's
if he said anything even remotely negative, it was about him and the way he fished, or he could have done better.
Yeah. Pretty much.
About himself.
Pretty much. You're right. I can't think. I wish there were more kids like Eric at my school. It would make it much better. Yeah.
A spinnerbait called Eric's Passion.
Eric's Passion. We can do that. We will figure that out. But you know what, Dylan? Can I? While I've got you and you're a young kid, how Dylan? How old are you? If you don't mind answering that real quick.
14.
And 14.
Well, he said earlier in the comments he wanted to come, but he didn't have a way to get there. Yeah. He was an hour and a half away because he didn't have a driver's license.
Oh, that's a long way. But
I think I saw somewhere he said lives in the Cumming area.
Okay, 15. All right, 15. All right, well, Dylan.
It should be called a spinner jig.
That's right. So, Dylan, let me give you this advice, and for if there's any high school kids or anybody out watching that are not in the comments, listen to the words that we're saying about this young man, and live your life so that people will say that about you. And so you have an opportunity to actually change the environment that you're in and the people around you by how you act. And if you will just kind of listen, you know, and you know, I'm sure Eric had faults. I didn't know him. You know, we all do. But if you
Mom
live,
and Dad could probably tell us if he didn't clean his room or something, but you know.
Yeah. Oh, I bet they could. But if you will take the opportunity.
You don't think they held the keys to that bass boat over his head?
That's right. You know it. That's right.
I bet you could have ate off the floor.
That's the reason why I got good grades.
That's right. But seriously, if my life from 17 to 24 would have been a lot easier if I had half of the character. Hey, Nathan, my life, I could have said that up to the age 45. I honestly could. It took me a lot longer to grow up.
I wasn't the most pleasant person to be around at 17 to 24.
No, I wasn't either. And that's it. And that's the thing is you have the opportunity now, kid, to listen to how we're talking about this young man. And if you want to honor him, even though you didn't get to meet him, live your life like that. If you love fishing, go out there and pursue it, but do it the right way. Do it with his attitude. And you'll be, you know what? So I say he affected us. Mm-hmm. And
Absolutely.
So he affected us in a positive way. I said it the other night. I forget who I was talking to. It might have been one of y'all. I don't remember. But I said, you know what? It might have been Paul. I told Paul this. I came in and Paul, we were on Messenger, and he was asking how I was doing, how he was doing, all that. I said, you know what? I feel good that I'm ready to roll and do the stuff here at the store and with all that. And I'm going to do it with the same passion that Beasley did it with. And that's because he affected me that way. We thought sometimes he was crazy because he was so passionate. But the reality was he was right. Mm-hmm. He was right. And so you got that kid, and make all of us proud. But even if we never speak to you again, remember that advice and do that. live it like that. So
Well, see, these kids now, with all this high school fishing and stuff.
hold on a second. You talking about the turtles? We did
Did
find
you-
out he did hate something.
He disliked turtles.
He disliked turtles.
Strongly.
Strongly disliked
Strongly
turtles.
disliked turtles.
I have never heard anybody have the passion and hate for a turtle
Stupid turtle.
that Beasley had for a turtle. And then it was very
Dan, were you here
strange.
for that?
It just happened like last week.
Last week we're doing mic check, and he's doing voices, and most of y'all that have been on YouTube have seen the "I like turtles" kid. He's like, "I like turtles," and so Eric is doing that voice, and I said, "Well, Eric, how do you feel about turtles?" Fully expecting that he was going to say, "I like turtles," and he just goes straight face and just goes, "Turtles are jerks. I've never been happy to see a turtle in my life."
He hated turtles. And we're like, where the heck did that come from? You know, like,
We're
that.
where did that come from? He was like, seriously though, think about it. Like,
And he explained his dislike for
his
them.
dislike for turtles.
He explained, when have you ever seen a good turtle or whatever, however it was he said. And we were like, okay. Yeah, that was that. We laughed like
That was it. We were dying. That was I told somebody in one of the Facebook threads they had mentioned just kind of seeing some of his passion and about fishing and getting to know him a little bit through the show. And I mean, that was like the tip of the iceberg.
Mm-hmm.
Like what y'all got to see here on camera was
just a small. Yeah.
Especially for fishing, like the fire that he had for fishing was just immeasurable.
It was immeasurable. It was pretty cool. And I heard him talking about the turtles. Yeah, seriously. He did not like turtles. But again, here's the thing. I've known him for about 3 years now. I just found out I found out he was in the band, and I found out he hated turtles just, recently like that. Because I could have done a lot with that turtles. I mean, we really could. I'd have brought a turtle up here. Had I known that we'd had an opportunity, there would have been a turtle in this thing. We'd have blindfolded him, and I'd have set it right in front of him just to see what would happen.
And knowing you would have brought the chocolate version instead of the actual turtle.
I probably would. I would have messed that up. So, but again, I tell you what, guys, listen. I think for tonight with this, I think now's a good time to just. It is what it is, and I want to say something to all you guys again. First of all, thank you for the support that we have seen, the outpouring of love. Paul and I talked about it, and all of us talked about it before the show. It's overwhelmed us with the amount of support and love that's being thrown out there. Yeah, try to get him turtle soup. I know, seriously. But if Mr. and Miss Beasley and Sydney, if y'all are still watching, again, listen, from the bottom of our hearts, we're sorry. We hate this situation. I know the Lord's got bigger plans, and we don't always understand them. But we thank you so much for allowing your son to be a part of our lives. And the hole, I want to say there's a hole that's left, but it's not. I mean, he's going to be here in spirit. And I'll be a 75, 80-year-old man. Hopefully, if I don't get called home, then I'll still be telling Beasley stories.
Or your wife kill you before then.
Or my wife kills me before then, which is probably the greater odds of happening.
More likely.
It's much more likely. But
after
again,
you get that tattoo, I mean, that's going to be tough.
That would be tough. I need to do that. I'm going to get it on my butt.
You got to end the show on him singing.
On him singing? I
Sweet
wish
song.
I knew where I could pull it up.
I thought you had to
pull
pull it
I
up.
don't have that one. But I will. I need to. That was still one of the funniest things. But again, we've cried with you. We won't be there, but we prayed for you. We will do our absolute best to always honor your son in everything that we do. And again, I'm gonna try to do this without crying. So I loved your son. We loved your son, and goodness, I don't know. I'm honored that I get to speak Tuesday night and tell everybody this. But again, thank you very much from the bottom of our heart for sharing your son with us and all of our, family and we will do our absolute best to make sure that we always will keep him involved in our show and our thoughts and stuff like that. So we love you, and we know that this is an absolute tough time. Times will be tough in the days and weeks to come. Ryan and I will always let you know that the store is always open to you. If you ever need to just come here and grieve, if we need to go get a ball bat and go out and beat some trees in the woods, whatever we can do, we will do it. And we're gonna plan some big things. And again, I'm gonna go ahead and announce it. It's going to happen. That we are going to start, and the details will be coming. But we've already talked. We will be starting a scholarship, a memorial scholarship in Eric's honor and in his memory. And we're going to set it up for local high school anglers to help send them to college and to pay for some of their expenses. And it's not going to be a one-time thing. When we set this up, it's going to be a yearly thing, and it's going to grow and grow and grow. And so because he touched our heart, and he did right by us, we're going to do right by him. And we're definitely going to make sure that that happens. It's going to happen. There's no ifs and buts. It's happened, and so it's going to be done. So it's a small token, or just that we can repay you and to honor Eric for all we did. And I think I'll go ahead and speak on behalf of everybody here that we loved Eric. We're going to miss him in body, but not in spirit. He's always going to be here with us. And so just, if there's anything we can ever do for you and your family, we are a phone call away. And you want to add anything, Ryan, or before I sign off? Or
you pretty much hit the nail on the head.
Yeah,
we'll miss him physically, but we'll never miss him.
Oh, my ass is I'm gonna get to heaven and I'm gonna out fish him. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. He's gonna have challenge. It's a challenge.
Oh no, dude, you didn't have much time on the water up there.
He's gonna have more time on the big pond than you got.
Tyler, we're gonna get the details. We've got plans, and so that's a good thing. That this is now, it's gone from sadness to celebration to make this thing happen, because he influenced us positively, and we're going to make sure that Eric will always influence somebody else by our actions and what we do. So we will definitely do that. So he's already got them lined up on the drop shot. So again, guys, I want to say this too. This is we do a lot of shows. Sometimes the audience is big, sometimes it's small. They watch it later. But tonight we had one of the best audiences that we have had since we have been doing this. And that's because you guys showed up because you love the same kid that we loved, and you wanted to help us honor him. And listen, from the bottom of my heart to the FNG family out there, to Dane, to Paul, to Ryan, to everybody, thank you from Josh and I. Josh is out of town, and I called him, and he said, you know what? This outpouring of support is because we feel what we're doing is right, and it brings people like Eric in our lives. So if you're available next Tuesday night, Revelation Church in Canton, visitation 5 to 6, service 6 to 7, wear your fishing shirts. I'm sure they won't mind if you wear a fishing hat. You can even wear one of them dugout hats. I don't care. You got, yes, because hell, I know he would.
Well, I told you I meant to bring one to sit in the chair over here.
If he was coming, if the roles were reversed and it was me, I guarantee he'd wear a dugout hat at my funeral like that. I just know he would, because I couldn't get him to wear that.
And knowing Jamie and Craig, they give him a new one just to wear.
So again, listen, we love you guys. Thank you very much. Next, so also too, we're gonna go fishing Tuesday morning. Ryan and I live, and that's gonna be our way of kind of celebrating the punk a little bit more that morning. We're going to go try to do that and then go from there to the service and stuff like that. So if you can come, we would appreciate it. Again, if you want to donate money to the family, Venmo, PayPal, Danny@fishnorthga.com. I'll make sure the family gets every dime that gets sent to us. If you want to come by the store and make a donation, hey, that's fine too. I'm going to make sure we can do that. We're going to shower them with some love and continue to do that. So, if everybody's good, I'm going to wrap it up with that, guys.
If just really the benefit tournament, as soon as the details get ironed out this week, get them
I'm going to get them out like that.
And if you decide that you just absolutely have to go hit the water somewhere, anywhere this weekend,
Please be safe.
please be safe.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, because this
Please
is one.
be safe
This is
this
one of those
weekend.
weekends.
Please be safe this weekend.
Be safe. Absolutely.
I don't want to say what I don't want to say what I'm thinking right now, but I'm not going to.
Right, but we know
Right.
where you're coming.
But please be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, guys, appreciate it. Eric, we love you, buddy. We know you're listening. We will see you on
We
the
got
next
you,
one.
Harold.
That's right. So, you guys be good. We'll see you on the next one. We love you guys.